how we can create a cinema robot movement using Blender. Grab the camera and move it around. Move the base as well, separated. This will be the new starting position, keyframe it, well dated, and play it. Hello, I'm Josh from iObuilder. In the next couple of minutes I would like to show you how we can program camera movement from Blender using an industrial robotic arm. So in Blender we have our plugin package incorporated, which communicates with iObuilder. So here we can see Blender running with the digital twin of this cinema robot. And if I open iObuilder's dashboard, we can see that this is iObuilder's dashboard. This is fully customizable, so I can move the items around if I have multiple robots, or if I have lighting and SFX, I can throw controls and status displays on this dashboard. But where we can actually connect things together is in the node graph, where we can connect inputs to output. So we have Blender data coming in, and we are interpolating this data and sending this data to the cinema robot. We can have external server drives, lighting and other robots or softwares. Let me show you how we can program robot's movement. We connected the MIDI controller to iObuilder, and we assigned a couple of buttons to do certain things. For example, we have a button to enable the robot and servo drives. So if I press this button, it enables the robotic arm, which means that it releases its brakes and activates the servo drives. So from this point, I could move the robot, but there is a safety mechanism. So if I just move the camera around in the Blender scene, we'll see that the actual robot won't move, because we need to synchronize the robot to the digital twin. And to do so, we need to press a button called sync. And there's a fader, so I can adjust the fader, which will limit the speed of the arm. So if I press the sync button and I increase the speed a bit, it will start to move towards the target position. Okay, let's make it faster. So now it's all synced up. And from this point, if I grab the camera and move it around, until I press this button, the robot will follow it. So if I release this button, you can see that the robot stops moving. And if we want to find a different framing, we just move the camera there in the digital twin, and we can move the actual robot to position, and we can change the camera position, like moving the digital camera. So I can move the base as well, separated. So let's create a keyframe. Let's have this position maybe as a starting position. Let's create a keyframe, and also let's create a keyframe for the base. And let's go to the end of the timeline. Let's find the next position. And of course, if I don't want to move the rear robot, I can freely move the object around. And for example, let's have this as a second position, and let's move the dolly a bit like that. And now we have an animation like this. I can jog through this animation, so let's have the playhead at the end of the timeline. Let's synchronize the robot to this position. And if I just want to go through the whole animation, so I have a knob assigned to jog the timeline. So I can turn this knob and go through the animation, just checking the whole trajectory. Okay, so I'm happy with this movement. So the next thing is to validate this movement in terms of we can play it or not physically. This is a procedure when I need to press this button, Okay, it says caching was successful, so it's not just a validation but a caching procedure. So if I do anything wrong according to the specs sheet of the robot, then it would return with an error and it won't let us to play the move. So now this movement is in IOBuilder memory. As you can see, for 5 seconds timeline it happens very fast. And from this point, if I want to start the playback, I just need to synchronize the robot to the first position. And let's open up the dashboard. We have a playback rate 1x, which means that the movement will be 5 seconds. But let's decrease this to 10%. And let's start the playback. So now we see that the robot is moving slowly because we lowered the playback rate. But on the fly, if I turn this knob, we can increase the playback rate. So we can make it even faster. I can play the movement back and forth. And if I want to change, for example, the starting position, I can go back to live mode, which means that from this point I will be able to move the arm live from Blender. Let's change the framing a bit. Okay, so this will be the new starting position. Keyframe it, validate it, synchronize it to first position, and play it. Again, if I want to change the framing, go back to live, and even bring it lower. That's going to be our first position. Keyframe it, download it, and play. And if I want to change the playback rate, I can decrease it a bit. I can do it super slow or fast. Thank you for watching. See you next time.